Right. So this one is really good. Like I like what you did with this painting. The reference is fantastic. Your drawing is cool. What I would say is that you did all this awesomeness on a different hue. Clearly, you're supposed to use from what I see in the reference, the color is somewhere around here. You see that the hue is close to the magenta slash purple range. So what we should be looking at is I'm going to do some corrective painting on top of your own so you see what I mean. So look at where the hue is on my color wheel. It's not, if I select your own, you see where yours is. Yours is in the orange area. Mine is close to the pink area because look at the reference you selected. She's the camera has, kind of distort. Should I say distorted? Like I guess it's from the camera, the way it was taken, the camera, the lighting situation. Maybe they did like some extra touch with a Photoshop after the picture was taken or whatever it is, but the hue is definitely not in the range that you created. Even though your painting is awesome, all the awesomeness is great, but it's not in the correct hue. So one way to do this thing, simple way to do this thing is probably just to apply a hue and saturation. So let me see. If I do like a hue saturation on this, you see that we're getting close to what the picture is like. So, and then if I drop the saturation a bit and the luminosity, if I make it brighter, you can see that we're getting close to the range, the color range. That's the color range there. That's the proper hue for the painting or from the picture. So being able to match this hue, this is what it's supposed to be, but this is what you did. I'm going to copy it again. Okay, so this is what you did, and then this is what I think the picture looks like. This is the proper hue. So you see that this hue is, see where this hue is. You can see that it's close to the range of the picture. But what you did earlier was this, and you can see how they are very different from each other. So this is why it's good to do exercises like this, because it makes you realize that what's your preconceived idea of what you're looking at, because we know she's dark skinned, right? We know she's brown, she has a brown skin, and you went ahead to paint it like she has a brown skin, but there is still the possibility that the camera or the photographer has distorted the final image to have slight hue shifts here and there, and this one has it. When you watch movies, for example, and you see these things very well with movies, because you watch a movie and you see that they've color graded the film. If you were to take a picture or you were to study maybe a color graded shot from a movie frame, you took a screenshot and then you studied, depends on the film anyway, it's not all films, but you see that they actually treated the picture and the brown skin that you would see in reality, because if we're looking at Venus Williams in reality, she probably would have the skin the color of skin you painted. But we also need to remember that we as the artists, we intentionally change, we intentionally do color grading. We do color grading for different reasons. We have reasons, artistic reasons for color grading and creating hue shifts here and there and stuff like that. So the purpose of this exercise is for you to be able to paint what you're seeing, not necessarily paint what you know. Because if we paint what we know, then the grass is green, the sky is blue, the subject is brown skin, But if you're painting what you see, then all of a sudden you open your mind to different possibilities of rendering skin. So skin could be bluish, So, for example, I've painted subjects where their skin tones are in this range. Like I've painted black people with skin tones getting to this range, you know, unusual ranges because of what the picture, the camera has created, what the picture is I'm looking at. And it's important to learn these things so that when you want to tell your own story in the future, at some point, I believe we all want to tell our own stories at some point. When you want to tell your own story, you know how to adjust some of these things, to do color correction here and there, to give you the desired look, even though the subject, without having to change, because we already know she's black. Like even if I made her skin green, like if I were to turn this whole thing to green, I still can tell that she's black from her features, her lips, her nose, and all of that. I can still tell that she's black. So, but if I was to limit myself to only rendering her skin as a brown person, then I'm limiting the possibilities of the other possibilities of her, in which her skin can exist, the other realms of colors and hues and possibilities for her skin to exist besides brown. So that's the idea of doing this study, so that you teach yourself to be able to see colors in different ways, like see color for what it is. That's tonal perfection. That's what I meant about tonal perfection. Like you're looking at the subject where you're trying to get the tone. Tonal perfection is not necessarily what we should strive for, because if you attain tonal perfection in the sense of the word, then it means that you have become like a camera or a photograph, or sorry, you become a camera. It means that you're heading towards the realm of realism, like hyper realism. And that's not what we are trying to do here. We're just trying to challenge ourselves and our ability to see, so that we can play with different hues, different skin possibilities for the human skin to exist, rather than just I know that this person's skin is pink. I know that this person's skin is yellow. I know this person's skin is brown. I'm just going to leave it at that. Right. So I hope you got the drift of what I was trying to communicate. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you want me to share this file, please let me know. I can also share it. You see that there's a slight difference between the subject, like what's the color corrected version versus your version. If you want that in PSD, I can tell that to you. Thanks.